November 23rd, 2014, from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. It was the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars won the toss and they elected it first. The Colts would take over first in this game. They start off on their own 37. They were faced with a 3rd and 1 from the 46. And Trent Richardson picked up the first down, but then on 1st and 10 from the 47, Andrew Luck was sacked for a 7-yard loss by Clemens, who forced the fumble. It was recovered by Smith, and the Jaguars took over on the Indianapolis 46 with about 13 minutes left in the first. But then on 2nd and 8 from the 44, Blake Bortles was intercepted by Davis, and the Colts got the ball right back. So now the Colts had the ball in Jacksonville 22 with about 12 minutes left in the first. They would end up settling for a field goal a few plays later as Vinatieri would come out to attempt a 46-yarder. It was up, it was good, and Indianapolis put the first points on the scoreboard as it was now 3-0 Colts over the Jaguars. So now the Jags took over with about 10.5 minutes left in the first quarter. They had the ball on their own 20, and on 2nd and 10, Blake Bortles ended up running for 20 yards and picking up the first down at the 40. They would end up punting the ball, though, from the 43 a few plays later, and now the Colts would get the ball on their own 30. And on 3rd and 8, Luck was sacked once again, this time for a 19-yard loss by Smith, who forced the fumble, and it was Marks who recovered. So now Jacksonville would take over on the Colts' 12-yard line with less than 7 minutes left in the first. Robinson then ran for 3 yards. He then got stopped for no gain. And on 3rd and 7, a false start moved them back. And then after picking up 4 yards, Scobie would end up coming out to attempt a 28-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and this game was tied at 3 apiece. So now the Colts would take over with about 4.5 minutes, a little less than 4.5 minutes left in the first. They had the ball on their own 13, and they would go 3 and out. So Jacksonville would take over with about 2.5 minutes left in the first. They had the ball on their own 36. But then on 2nd and 3 from the 43, they gave it to Denard Robinson. He got dropped for a yard loss, and Jones forced the fumble, and Jackson recovered, and it was now a first down for the Colts on the Jacksonville 41. Then on 3rd and 4, Luck hit Fleener for a 14-yard pass that made it a first down on the Jacksonville 21. Herron then ran for 2 yards, and the first quarter came to a close. So after 1 quarter of play, this game was tied at 3 apiece. So the Colts would start off the second quarter. It was 2nd and 8 on the Jacksonville 19, and Moncrief ran on an end around for 4 yards. There was an unnecessary roughness penalty against Jacksonville, and so now it was 1st and goal on the 7, and Daniel Herron ran it in. He ended up getting stopped for no gain, but then the play ended up being, it was a fumble, actually, and Jacksonville took over. So now Jacksonville had the ball on their own 7-yard line with about 14.5 minutes left before halftime. They ended up picking up a first down on 3rd and 1 as Denard Robinson he ran for 3 yards, 6 yards, then 2 yards, and that was first down on the 18. And Robinson then picked up 9 yards to make it 2nd and 1 on the 27. Blake Bortles then ran for 2 yards, and it was a first down on the 29. Then on 2nd and 11 from the 28, Toby Gerhart ran for 23 to bring the ball to midfield at the Indianapolis 49 for a first down for Jacksonville. But they would end up punting, though. After getting into Indianapolis territories, they punted the ball from the Colts 44. So now the Colts would take over with about 9 minutes left in the second quarter. They had the ball on their own 10-yard line. Luck hit Fleener for a 14-yard pass, and they made a first down on the 24. But then a holding penalty moved them back to the 14. But on 2nd and 12 from the 22, Luck scrambled for 20 yards to make it a first down on the Indianapolis 42. Then on 3rd and 2 from the 50, Richardson picked up 11 yards. And that was now good for a first down on the Jacksonville 39. Their drive would stall, though, and they would end up punting the ball from the Jacksonville 42. So now the Jaguars would take over literally in the shadow of their own end zone as they were on their own 1-yard line with 4 minutes left before halftime. Blake Bortles then hit Denard Robinson, and he ran 19 yards for the first down to bring them out of the shadow of their own end zone with the ball now on the Jacksonville 20. They would end up punting the ball, though, a few plays later, and so now the Colts would take over on their own 46 with about 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Luck then hit Herron, and he ran for 14 yards off of the reception to make it a first down on the Jacksonville 40. This game would come to the 2-minute warning after an incomplete pass. And then on 3rd and 14, Luck hit T.Y. Hilton for a 26-yard reception to make it a first down in the red zone on the Jacksonville 18. Then on 2nd and 4 from the 12, Heron ran for 5 yards to make it a first down, as it was now 1st and goal on the 7. So now on 1st and goal, Luck hit Heron for a short pass and he picked up 5. But they wouldn't get any further, as they would end up kicking a field goal from the 2-yard line as Vinatieri came out to attempt a 20-yarder. It was up, it was good, and the Colts were back in the lead with the score now 6-3, Indianapolis over Jacksonville. Blake Bortles took a knee, and this game the first half came to a close with the game now at halftime. And so the score was Indianapolis 6, Jacksonville 3. Starting off the second half, the Jaguars would get the ball first. Blake Bortles would hit Lewis, and he actually lost 5 yards. Then on 2nd and 15, Bortles was sacked, and he fumbled, but he recovered it. And they would end up punting 2 plays later. So now the Colts would take over with about 13 and a half minutes left in the third. They had the ball on their own 38, and they ended up they had the ball on the Jacksonville 38, and they ended up just marching down further into scoring position. They were faced with a 3rd and 1 on the 13, and Luck picked up 3 to make it a first down on the 10. And then on 3rd and goal from the 1, they ended up giving it to Richardson, and he pounded it in for the first touchdown of this game from a yard out, and it was now 13-3 as the Colts led the Jaguars now by 10 points. So now Jacksonville had the ball on their own 20 with about 8 minutes left in the third, and they would go 3 and out. So now the Colts had the ball on their own 15. Richardson ran for 12 yards, and now it's a first down on the Colts 27. Andrew Luck dropped back to pass, and he hit T.Y. Hilton for a 73-yard touchdown pass that made the score 20-3. And earlier in the day, T.Y. Hilton, his wife gave birth to a baby girl, and he promised that he would catch a touchdown for his newly born daughter. And when he caught the touchdown, he then cradled the football like a newborn child, and he gave a shout out to his baby. So now the score was 20-3 Colts over the Jaguars. The Jaguars now took over on their own 20 with about 6 minutes left in the third, and they would go 3 and out. The Colts now had the ball with about 4.5 minutes left in the third. They were backed up against their own end zone on their own 9-yard line, but they just kept picking up yards. And actually on 1st and 10 from the 33, Luck scrambled for 20, and an unnecessary roughness penalty would make it a first down on the Jacksonville 32. T.Y. Hilton then ran on an end around for 15 yards. And then on 2nd and 9, Richardson ran for 2 yards and brought the third quarter to a close. And after 3 quarters of play, the score was Indianapolis 20, Jacksonville 3. So to open up the fourth quarter, it was 3rd and 7 on the Jacksonville 14 for the Colts. An incomplete pass would bring out Adam Vinatieri to attempt a 32-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and it was now a 20-point game with the score Indianapolis 23, Jacksonville 3. The Jaguars would take over on their own 3-yard line, but after 6 plays, they would punt the ball back to the Colts. The Colts would then go 3 and out and punt it right back to Jacksonville, who now took over with less than 11 minutes on the clock, backed up against their own end zone with the ball on their own 5-yard line. Bortles threw it to Denard Robinson, who picked up 12 to make it a first down on the 17, and then Bortles went back to Robertson for a 16-yard pass and was now a first down on the 33. Then on 3rd and 4, Bortles went to Gerhardt for a 7-yard pass and was a first down on the 46 of Jacksonville for the Jags. Then on 2nd and 2 from the Colts 46, Gerhardt picked up 8 for a first down on the 38. And on first down from the 38 of the Colts for the Jags, Bortles ended up throwing the ball to Lee. He picked up 37 and was 1st and goal on the 1. They weren't able to punch it in, and they were actually faced with a 4th and goal from the 3. They attempted to go for it. Bortles dropped back, and he was intercepted by DeQuell Jackson, and he just knelt on the ball for the touchback. So now the Colts took over. Actually, it was ruled that he was... What? It was ruled incomplete, actually. They said, nope, it was not an interception, and so the Colts would, instead of having the ball on the 20, they ended up having the ball on the 3-yard line because of the turnover on downs. There was still 6 minutes left on the clock. They had it on their own 3. They ended up losing a yard on first down, but on 3rd and 3, after picking up 8 on a little pass to T.Y. Hilton from Luck, Luck then went to Moncrief. He picked up 16, and it was now a first down on the 26. They then just gave the ball to Heron First Richardson, then Heron a couple times. Jacksonville called the timeout. They were faced with a 2nd and 2. Luck actually threw it to Reggie Wayne for the first down. That brought it to the 2-minute warning. And on 1st and 10 from the 42, Luck then went back to Reggie Wayne. He lost a yard. But at this point, they just knelt on the ball. The game came to a close. In the final score, Indianapolis 23, Jacksonville 3. And with the victory, the Colts are now 7-4 as they're in first place in the AFC South. They're 4-2 at home. And the Jaguars are now 1-10, 0-6 on the road after this loss against their division rival. So the Colts remain in first place as they get the win, and the Texans ended up losing to the Bengals. But the Colts in this game, Andrew Luck was 21 for 32 with 253 passing yards and a touchdown. He actually had 49 rushing yards off of 8 carries for an average of 6.1 yards on the ground. Blake Bortles was 15 for 27 with 146 passing yards and an interception. He picked up 24 yards on the ground off of 5 carries. The leading rusher in this game was Daniel Heron. He had 12 carries for 65 yards. And the leading receiver in this game was T.Y. Hilton, the new Papa. He had 4 receptions for 122 yards and a touchdown. Congratulations to T.Y., especially on the new birth and on the big game. And the leading tackler was a tie between DeQuell Jackson of the Colts. He had 13 tackles and a sack. And on Jacksonville's end, Telvin Smith also had 13 tackles. DeQuell Jackson almost had that interception, but they overturned it. Davis did have the lone interception in the game, and that was for Indianapolis. He also had 2 tackles in the game. The Colts combined for 4 sacks. We said Jackson had 1. Landry had 1.5, and Freeman had a half sack. And Jacksonville actually had 5 sacks. Clemens had 3 sacks. Chris Clemens, he was with the Seahawks last year. Davis and Smith each had a sack as well for the Jaguars. But despite the 5 sacks, they weren't really able to do much else. They didn't get anything done on offense. They got only 3 points, and the Colts win this game with a good performance from Luck and a big performance from T.Y. Hilton. And the final score, Colts 23, Jaguars 3.